I was going to bring my wine glass up here, but then I remembered we're catering this affair, and that wouldn't be good for the bottom line. So, as Frank just said, my name's Paul Smith. I'm the CFO and a shareholder of DAmico. I've been a partner of Richard and Larry's now for almost 3.5 decades. And as a quick aside before I get started, if any of you are just dying to know what it's like to be in a business partnership for that length of time with two Italian brothers from Cleveland, I'm seated at that table right over there. You can look me up later, I'll fill you in. Richard hired me in 1986. He made a partnership offer about a year later, which, in addition to being an impressive early manifestation of Richard's visionary qualities, put me in a privileged position to be a firsthand eyewitness to the growth and development of the company every step of the way, virtually from its inception. It's a rich history to draw upon, and it's humbling to attempt to do it justice on an occasion such as this one. So when I sat down to try and figure out what I wanted to say tonight, I was reminded of the old Mark Twain quote, "It usually takes me 3 weeks to write a good impromptu speech." It's painfully obvious to you by now that I didn't take that long, but fortunately in my case, the subject matter was such that I just didn't need the time. When you have notable and compelling people like Richard and Larry to discuss, the stories, the ideas, the words themselves come very easily. So the list of accomplishments is long and impressive, too long, unfortunately, for this format. You may or may not be aware, but I'm laboring under a 2-minute time ultimatum, which, by the way, I'm going to breach egregiously. But one attribute, one notable thing about Richard and Larry that must break free of our temporal constraints tonight and be recognized properly is the imprint that they've made on our local culinary scene, sometimes known as the DAmico diaspora. Frank referenced it earlier. This is not just an evocative alliteration, it's an impressively dense web of connections and influences and patronage, which only a few years ago, the magnificent Sue Ellickson, whose presence we're graced with tonight, by the way, lovingly and meticulously documented in a local publication. It is simply a fact that our hospitality community today is what it is because Richard and Larry built what they did. A few weeks ago, I was having dinner at the bar at Spoon and Stable with a friend when Gavin Kaysen came out to chat with us. At one point in the conversation, he looked at me and said, "You know, the Twin Cities dining scene would not be what it is today. And I probably would not have come back to Minneapolis from New York if it had not been for the DAmicos. More people should know this." Gavin is right, of course. That's why he'd be thrilled to see all of you here tonight, because you know, and your presence here testifies eloquently to the enduring contributions of two wonderful people who I'm proud and humbled to call my dear friends. And so without further ado, it is my distinct honor to present Richard and Larry DAmico.
So I just wanted to let you guys know that I decided to cut my talk in half from thank you very much to thank you. Larry? Oh, those are mine. Twin Cities Business started this award in 1999, 23 years ago, and they've inducted over 125 companies into their Hall of Fame. During that time, only 3 restaurant-oriented companies have been awarded with that distinction. So this is a very big deal for us, and we really appreciate it. And it's truly awesome to be included in the rarefied air of companies like Medtronic, Target, and Cargill. As you can see, we have a very good relationship with Paul and Larry and I. And Paul came to the company in 1986. He had just graduated from the U of M, and we hired him as an hourly bookkeeper in 1986. In 1987, he was the CFO of the company. He's been the CFO ever since. He's more than just a CFO. Over that time, he's guided us through some of the harshest financial times that you can imagine, that all of you have been through. The tech crash in the 80s, 9/11, and the current situation that we're in right now. His expertise goes well beyond his financial prowess. He has become a trusted confidant and advisor, and has basically become a third brother to us and a member of the DAmico familia. But in the long run, none of this would happen if it weren't for people like you guys. There's a table number 2, it says DAmico Catering, DAmico and Partners. That's a table of 20-year employees with our company. Could you guys stand up? So we always kind of work from I've always thought of it like the 3 of us. We only have to do what we need to do to open a restaurant once. We come up with the idea, we program it, we get it all put together one time. And then we give it to our employees, and they have to do it every day. And if it wasn't for them, what we did was just an idea, not a reality. So it's people like our friends and employees at that table that really made the company. There's only a few other things I'd like to say. One is I'd like a special thanks to Catherine Ropke, our media savant and friend, Sue Zellickson, who I met in 1982, trying to pitch her to do the Symphony Ball. She's became a close friend, and I don't know if any of you know her, but she's basically our second mom. And then I'd like to thank my beautiful wife, Amy. She's what makes every day better than the last. So.
I'm a man of few words. Anyway, this table here, Rodney Scroggins, 31 years. Jose Sanasaca Quito, 23 years. Leah Henderson, they're the best pastry chef in the world, 24 or 5 years. She's unbelievable. Josh Brown, 22 or 3 or 4 years. He started working with me when he was 12. Amy Britton, she runs all the DAmico and Sons. She used to work at Heartthrob Cafe in St. Paul when we ran that in a management contract. We met her, she was on roller skates. We told her if she stayed, she had to get rid of the roller skates. And then our controller, Wanda Hexel there, she's been with us 23, 24 years. 25, excuse me. I personally want to thank the Business Journal for this honor. Adam Platt for interviewing us. He was a joy to work with. I've known him for 20 years, and I knew when I met him 20 years ago, this is a man that I like and respect and could be a friend of. My brother, you know, I'm a lucky guy. He brought me here in 1984. I was working for my father. He called me up and said, I got a job for you. I came out. It was the best move of my life. Paul, our CFO, like a brother to me. My entire family's here. My wife, Diane. My daughter, Amanda, from Philadelphia. She teaches at Temple University. My son, Benno, works for us. My stepson, Michael, and Travis are sitting out there. And I hope I didn't forget anybody. I don't have any other family here, I think, other than my working family, which is the most important thing to our company, and our customers. When Richard talks about the art of service, that's the most important thing in our company. I think when I thought about talking today, you know, we always came here and we talked about food, food, food. When we opened DAmico Cucina, it was about food. But now, and I'm a chef, after all these years, it's not about food. It's about the customer experience and customer service. That's what it is about. And for that, I thank my parents, Art and Helen DAmico. They had a restaurant for 35 years in Cleveland, Ohio, Medina actually, and it was a great restaurant. It was formal. In 1980, they had a $50 check average. It was a mobile, you know, they didn't have Michelin then in the United States. It was a mobile 4-star restaurant. And all they talked about was the customer. When they closed the week after New Year's, they took a week off. And my uncle and father were partners, and both of their wives, my mother and my aunt, worked in the business. They both went to Acapulco. They flew separate planes, separate flights, and I asked why. And there aren't that many flights going from Cleveland to Acapulco in January. I asked why. My mother said, if the plane went down, what would our customers do? That's where we're from. And we grew up under them. We learned everything that they knew, and it was fine dining. That's what it was. You know, they don't talk too much about fine dining anymore, but back then, that's what it was. We did fine dining, and they taught us that, and it was in our DNA, and we came here, and that's what we did at DAmico Cucina. It was fine dining, and it was a very good restaurant. And then we hired these great people here and taught them what we knew, and now they do that. They carry on our legacy with these restaurants and catering operations and the beautiful work that you do. Thank you very much. Way to go, Richard, Larry. Thank you. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, Frank.
Congratulations. Yeah.